How y'all doing? So my name is Doug, and I have a story to tell. In the summer of 1990, my friend and I were both homeless. We were in our early 20s, and due to some poor decision making, we found ourselves without a place of residence. It was during the summer, and it wasn't bad to survive. There we were in Maryland, and it gets pretty nice there during the summer. Well, one particular night, my friend and I had decided that we were going to pull what little bit of money we could together. Now we were going to get something to eat, and we were going to go have a campfire. So we got us some hot dogs and a loaf of bread, and we went down to an area by a dam, an old abandoned dam that had long since dried up. It was near some motorcycle trails that we used to ride on when we were kids. And we built us a fire, and we sat around the fire, and we were eating our hot dogs and just talking, generally trying to enjoy a beautiful night. My friend had decided that he needed to heed the call of nature, so he went off into the weeds outside the line of fire, the line of light, and he came back pretty scared. And when he came back pretty scared, it kind of shook me a little bit, because my friend was ex-military. He rode in a tank, and this was before the Berlin Wall came down, so he saw some things that he couldn't talk about. But he wasn't prone to being scared of anything. So he tells me he's hearing these sounds creeping up on him through the brush. Now, I didn't think anything of it, because this was an area where, yes, it was wooded, and it was really dense and whatnot, but it was also a square plot that was in the middle of an urban area, so I didn't think anything of it. If anything, I thought it might have been some of the animals that people dropped off there. People would drop off unwanted dogs and cats there. And I thought maybe, they smelled the food and they were coming near the fire. Well, he comes over and he sits down, and we're talking some more, and I start to hear these sounds as well in the bush around us, in the tall grass. And we start to notice, every time that one of us hears something, we bring it to the other's attention. We start to notice that as soon as we get quiet, the sounds get quiet. It hits us. This thing is using our own sound to mask its sound. Now, this is messed up, because this is a sign of a higher intelligence. Well, we decide that, it's time to go. We're done eating. We put our fire out, because we liked this area, and we'd go back there several times, so, we didn't want to burn anything down. So we put our fire out, and we start making our way up the hill. And we can hear this thing getting closer through the brush, and it's following us. And it sounds big. It sounds big. So we're going up this hill. And as I said about him before, he was ex-military. He wasn't prone to be scared of much. Myself, I had faced some things in life and been some places and done some things that also made me not too easy to scare. We were both getting pretty terrified by this point, because this sound would go from one side of the trail to the other. Now, the trail we were on right now was through thick underbrush and dense woods, and it was only about 3 feet wide. On both sides was pitch black nothingness, just trees and brush and danger, real and imagined. We make our way up through this trail, and neither of us is armed with anything. Brian had a little pocket knife, and I had one of those old style spiked wristbands. dead-eye wrapped around my hand, you know. I don't know what that was going to do, but you use what you've got. We make our way up to the top of the hill, and the sounds stop. We go out across an open field that opens up into an area behind the supermarket. This area is dimly lit, and as we get closer to the supermarket, the lights get brighter and brighter. This is probably about 150 yards. We come out of the woods and before we come out into the lighted area. Now we're standing there, and we're looking back at the trail where we had just come out of. And we see a form come out. And this form is shaped like a dog, okay? It's shaped like a dog, but it's big. It's real big. It's on all fours. It's about the size of a pony. I mean, this thing is huge. But it moved wrong. It moved like a cat. It moved graceful. It moved almost like it wasn't touching the ground. Like it just fluid motion. And it circled around us off to the left and out into the field that was over beside of us. But it kept its distance about 100 yards, 150 yards or so. Well, we made our way closer and closer to the supermarket, out into the bright light, and back out into town. There's no more problems with it that night. That's part one. I'll get to part two at another time.